Welcome to Tea with the Experts and Dr. Leah Merle, your premier destination for mental health insights, empowerment, and inspiration. Led by the passionate therapist and counsellor educator, Dr. Leah Merle, this interview-style podcast delves deep into diverse themes with top-notch experts in the field. Beginning with the What Is series, from anxiety, trauma to resilience and mindfulness, we sip our way through captivating conversations, psychological insights, shedding light on the complexities of mental wellness and what it means to be a human being. Each episode serves up a refreshing blend of knowledge, empathy, and empowerment, aiming to destigmatize mental health issues and raise awareness in an engaging and approaching manner. So grab your favorite cuppa and get ready to step yourself into transformative conversations that will leave you feeling uplifted and enlightened. Subscribe now and join the movement to break down barriers and foster a more compassionate world.
Welcome back to another episode of Tea with the Experts, where we explore topics that really matter to today's world, counseling, mental health. I'm the host, Dr. Leah Merle, and today's episode is focused on a platform that has become really a central part of youth culture, TikTok. You may have heard of it, TikTok, as we call it. Maybe even if you use it yourself. I know I have. But today we're diving into the question specifically, what is TikTok and how does it affect youth mental health? So TikTok is one of the fastest growing social media platforms globally, with over 1 billion active users. So what's particularly noteworthy, I feel, is that nearly half of TikTok's users are between the age of about 10 and 29. So as of about 2021, coming out of the pandemic, TikTok dethroned Instagram as the most used social media among teens about 12 to 17. And so there was about 63% of that population really using it on a weekly basis. So questions are, how does this app impact youth and young people? Well, as with anything, there are two sides to the coin, two sides to the story. And today, I'd like to weigh in on the pros and cons of TikTok. Of course, this is my opinion and my perspective based on research. So let's begin with the cons. So because these are often what make the headlines, studies show that more time that young people spend on social media platforms like TikTok and such, the more likely they are to experience symptoms of anxiety, isolation, and potentially even depression. So, for example, one recent study that I found, they reported that there were high levels of social media use over 4 years, and they were associated with increased effects of high school youth. So, according to John Piancinetti, professor at UCLA in their Department of Psychiatry and Biobehavioral Sciences, what they reported is TikTok's rise coincide with the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Teens and young adults who are already having a heightened need for peer interactions and a stronger sensitivity really to social exclusion found that their usual in-person connections were disrupted by the lockdowns, social distancing rules, and TikTok for many became a go-to, really a coping strategy, filling that void left by isolation. But what happens when this virtual escape becomes overwhelming? For some teens, TikTok can exacerbate feelings of loneliness, anxiety, depression, isolation. Dr. Anne-Marie Albana, who is a director of the Columbia University Clinic for Anxiety and Related Disorders, they explained that youth with social anxiety or depression spend more time online, and that can replace crucial face-to-face interactions which really are key for healthy emotional development. There's also the culture of comparison that we see that social media fuels, and adolescents are naturally concerned with fitting in. TikTok amplifies this and uses constantly to compare themselves to each other, which causes self-doubt and really increase the risk of mental health challenges, as well as potential cyberbullying, which is another dark side to TikTok, the TikTok phenomenon. Research links outline bullying and exclusion at higher rates of mental health issues, particularly in vulnerable youth populations. So some teams even report worsened symptoms of anxiety, depression, obsessive compulsive behaviors, often prolonged exposure to certain TikTok content. But here's the other side of the story. TikTok isn't all that. In fact, I think it's helped many young people, particularly those who feel marginalized or misunderstood, maybe find validation in a community. A key benefit of the platform is that the opportunity provides to raise awareness and also share experiences about mental health. So users can find people who relate to them, to their own struggles, whether it's living with depression, ADHD, anxiety, and important conversations that might not happen otherwise. So for example, Peter Wallerick Niels, known as Peter Hyphen on TikTok, has over 400,000 followers who engage with his content discussing his ADHD diagnosis. His videos have opened up dialogues for young people who maybe previously thought that they were alone in their experiences. Platforms like TikTok can serve as an emotional outlet and a source of support, particularly for those from communities where mental health issues might be stigmatized, considered taboo. Dr. Kajo Safo, a mental health nurse practitioner with over 1.9 million followers, really credits TikTok with helping create spaces where individuals struggling with their mental health can feel like they belong. So how can we help youth navigate TikTok in a healthy, balanced way? Experts like Dr. Albano from Columbia University recommend teaching young people how to set healthy boundaries on social media, encouraging them to reflect on what feels comfortable for them, what they choose to post, and how they interact with others. Mealtimes, for example, can be a great opportunity to put the phones away. And setting screen limits at night can also help them wind down for better sleep and real quality sleep. So before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to really address how TikTok affects non-binary and neurodivergent youth, in particular, a lot of those marginalized folks I work with. Let's start with non-binary youth. TikTok often provides a safe space for them to explore and affirm their gender identity in communities where they might not feel accepted. The platform actually allows them to find others who understand and validate their personal lived experience. And unfortunately, they also face online harassment and discrimination, which can significantly harm their mental health, increasing feelings of anxiety, alienation, and depression. So as clinicians, it's really critical that we remain aware of the double-edged nature of these platforms, specifically for non-binary individuals, offering them support and building resilience, both online and offline. And now for neurodivergent youth, including those with ADHD or folks on the autism spectrum, TikTok has become a significant platform for connection and education. So many neurodivergent users share their experiences, offering tips, strategies for coping with everyday difficulties and challenges. This visibility can reduce feelings of isolation. However, for some neurodivergent users, TikTok's fast-paced content and the constant stimulation can actually worsen symptoms. Adolescents with ADHD may struggle to regulate their screen time leading to sleep issues, anxiety, difficulties concentrating. So this makes it all the more important for neurodivergent youth to set clear boundaries around their usage and to prioritize breaks that give their brains really time to rest. So in conclusion, TikTok is a complex platform with both benefits and risks. And counselors in training, people that I train, it's really our responsibility to approach this topic with an open and balanced mind, recognizing opportunities that it presents to youth and mental health across the board, whether it's non-binary, neurodivergent, or other youth. Really, each individual interacts with social media differently. And understanding these nuances is really key to providing the best support possible, as well for parents as well. So thank you for tuning in today to today's episode of Tea with the Experts. This was a little snapshot. I hope you found today's discussion on TikTok and youth mental health informative and engaging. Don't forget to follow us for more deep dives into important mental health issues. Until next time, I'm Dr. Leah Merle. Stay well, stay curious, and keep sipping that tea, folks. Bye for now.